What's up, everyone? Dylan here, and in this video I'm going to just talk about just general updates, things going on in the crypto space, and how you should look at influencers, people making content online, just kind of a filter you can apply to help you better make decisions based upon the information that you're taking in. So if this sounds interesting, like, subscribe, comment below, and let's get into this. So the reason why I want to make this video and talk about this stuff is I've made videos. I started making videos about on the topic of crypto, Bitcoin, altcoins, whatever, about a year ago, and a lot has changed and a lot has happened in that year. So the first thing that you should know is always, right, do your own research, right? And that's what they say in crypto. And watching these videos is a form of doing your own research, but another form is being critical of the sources of the information, right? And the times that that information was released, and understanding the context of that time versus now. It's hard to do. It's not easy. So if you stumble across one of my old videos, right? If you stumble across and you're doing it today, you're watching it today, there could be some relevant information in there. I mean, I hope that a lot of the content in my videos is evergreen, but inevitably, as I've learned, as I've grown, and as the market has changed over time, the market has drastically changed over time. There's inevitably going to be things that I've said that aren't accurate today. So make sure that if you watch one of those videos and I say something that seems out of whack, right, look at the timestamp. Right, it could have even been wrong back then. So I'm not even saying that I'm always right. Of course, I'm not. I try to do my best with what I have, but not always right. But make sure you're not taking advice from outdated videos, right? Or if you are, or if you're considering it, that you are considering in the context of now and just asking yourself, hey, does this advice apply? And so I think you should do that for all these videos and all these influencers, because sometimes YouTube, the algorithm, or whatever platform just shoots out content that's old, it's outdated, right? It's not relevant. So always have that filter in mind when you're looking at this other content. Another thing that I think is very important during these times when things are changing is, and people have asked me a lot because I've done a few videos reviewing different hardware wallets and things like that, is do the research yourself. And if you have, and of course, none of this is financial advice, it's just education. It's just me talking my opinions based on my experience. If you have money in this space, right, you need to take a step back and consider how much money, and really do the cost benefit analysis when it comes to these different wallets. If you have several Bitcoin, I have people that have several Bitcoin on exchanges, and I'm going to be working with them to get those that Bitcoin off the exchanges because they have no idea how to set up a cold storage wallet. Right? It's worth it to buy a couple of them and figure out which ones you like, which ones you trust, and which ones you don't trust, and which ones work for you in your particular situation, right? There's common ones out there that are mentioned all the time, but just because they've been out there and they're mentioned all the time by influencers and whatnot, I still think it's important that you don't just take their word for it or my word for it, and you do some research yourself, right? You spend a little bit extra money and buy both a Trezor and a Ledger, or if you want, Trezor, Ledger, Cold Card, Ballet crypto wallet, Arculus wallet. Those are all ones I've talked about before, and you figure out what it is, how it works, and why it's important, and then, right, you can make a decision, especially if you're dealing with larger amounts of money or larger amounts of crypto. You can make a decision on what one works for you. And when you do that, obviously there's going to be a little bit higher initial cost on that. But you're learning in that process. You're getting better at setting up these wallets, because the last thing you want is try to set up one and not know how, and then lose your funds or whatnot, or struggle with that. I don't want that to happen to you. And so the way to prevent that is just practice, right? You got to practice and understand the tools and the resources in the markets that you're dealing with. So I think that's an important thing. So any videos where I talk about that stuff, I have ones that I like, but it's impossible for me to say everything and to give you the exact ways I'm using it, because sometimes I will change the ways I'm using it because I'll figure out something about the product later on, or they'll release an update, or I'll just decide that hey, I've been using two different types of wallets or whatnot. I'm going to consolidate on the one because I don't need the two anymore. And so if there's a video where I was talking about that before, right, it may not be relevant. So I think it's very important to consider. And then I think another thing is especially this pertains to a lot of the projects right now, is just a lot of the people in this space, and myself included, right? I'm making these videos in order to gain attention for just my channel. I don't do a ton right now. Maybe I'll do more. And my goal of that is to increase your education and awareness. But hopefully like you recommend me to a friend, and then maybe that friend becomes one of my clients, like where I help them set up their cold storage wallets, I help them understand Bitcoin, help them understand the difference between Bitcoin and altcoins in the space, from my perspective. I hope that. Or if like you're looking to do something similar, I hope that perhaps you'll buy my coaching program, where I show you how to create your own consulting business using a lot of the tools and resources and strategies that I use for my clients. Right? That's my motivation. That's why I'm on here doing this. So I want to provide education, but that's how I'm wanting to monetize this, and that's my position. If you agree with it, you agree with it. If you don't, you don't. It is what it is. But with that said, I think it's always very important that you consider the motivations of the people that are making their videos. Go and check out the links to the platforms that they have, the affiliate links. And there's nothing wrong with having affiliate links to platforms. Like, there's nothing like inherently wrong with that. I think there's things inherently wrong when you are not disclosing to your audience that you basically got issued a bunch of tokens to this one project before they're available in the market, and they're significantly lower in the market, and then you're talking to your big audience about that project, right? Basically saying, hey, this is a really good project, while you're pumping your bags and selling off and taking profits based upon your followers getting in. That's a huge issue in the space, and there's so many influencers that are doing it. There's so many that are getting money under the table, that are getting deals under the table by doing those things. And that's why it's important to understand where they're coming from, because when you understand, like, hey, that's how they're making their money, that's the product that they're really selling, or that's the business that they're really in, you can use that as a filter, right, to help you better understand the information coming out of their mouths. Just like for example, there's the Hex Guy, right? I don't necessarily have anything wrong. Like, I don't know very much about the guy. I just know that he has his own crypto, right? He has his own crypto projects. He has Hex, he has Pulse Chain. So he is going to be outspoken for those projects. And I'm not a commentary on like if they're good or bad. I don't know. You have to do your own research on that. But it makes sense that he would call out and comment and polarize against other projects in the space. It's normal. I expect that from him. So when I'm hearing his arguments, which they can be very solid arguments and legit arguments, when you hear it, just know that his goal when he makes these arguments, he's not completely altruistic, because we're all people. If you're making videos online, like you have an ulterior motive, right? Whether it's just the attention, whether it's money, whatever it is, right? So his goals, he wants people to buy his crypto, right? To go in his project. And if it's a good project, everyone will be better off for that, right? And they'll get rewarded and whatnot. The market will decide. But it could also be a bad project, and he could be leading them to a slaughter while he takes all the gains. So that's a possibility, but I'm not saying it's a certainty. But if you know that perspective, then you can apply that filter to the information, and you can just make more rational, objective decisions about what's going on in the space. And I think that's super important now, especially in the bull markets, especially, but also in these bear markets. You're going to get information from all sides, all different people with all different backgrounds, with all different motivations, and they might be all under the umbrella of crypto and Bitcoin or whatnot. But the reality is they're all coming from different things, and they all have different end goals, right? And you don't know what those are. So the better that you can figure those out or understand or have that realization when you're going through this content, the better off you'll be. And that's just my perspective. You don't have to agree. If not, let me know in the comments below. But I just wanted to make this video talking about that. So going forward, I'm going to try to simplify things. I'm going to still probably make videos. I'm still probably going to be wrong some of the times. The market's going to change. Old videos of mine will probably show up on your feed, and you'll watch them, and you'll be like, hey, this does not make any sense. Or you'll be like, oh man, he was so right. His prediction was on point. I don't know the future. I can definitely not predict the future. All I can take is the information out there that I've seen through whatever filters I've set up, and kind of apply that to my thinking and help guide me there, which you should be doing that as well. So if you're really serious about this space, really serious about these assets, really serious about the future of this, you should be studying this and learning as much as you can about it, so that you are well-versed, so that you can better discern the signal from the noise. And I think that's more and more important going forward. And it takes time, right? It takes time. It takes bad experiences. It takes mistakes. It takes slip-ups. Those are just going to happen. And obviously, I wish that it didn't have to work that way, and it didn't go that way. But the reality is it's going to happen to everyone. And there's no way that you can be perfect. There's no way you can predict everything. Heck, like these multi-million, billion-dollar companies couldn't foresee and predict everything. Or maybe they did that on purpose. Maybe they set it up that way on purpose. Who knows, right? The reality is you just got to be flexible and open to things and open to changing your position or strategy should enough information come in from the market to dictate that. So hopefully you've taken some of these things that I've said in this video and you apply them and don't just like hear it and not do anything with it, because I think if you apply them, you'll do better off. And I'm always trying to apply them, always trying to get better, so that I can do better in the market, that I can serve my clients better, so that I can produce better products and services and content out there that helps more people than it does harm them. Like, it helps guide them, at least helping point them in the right direction so that they can come to conclusions on their own. So hopefully this video has helped you. If you liked, hit subscribe. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I will catch you in the next video.